I'm Action.
I'm Set.
And I'm Roll.
Here is our video of the National Railroad Museum. On July 28th, myself,
Action,
and Roll
went to the National Railroad Museum in the United States in Green Bay. Now, this museum was quite awesome for the fact that it had a variety of different locomotives, steam, diesel, and electric.
The bartender will pour them 3 fingers of alcohol to drink quickly. That is where we get the highball drink today. Now off to the train's right side on the end of our display track, cousin of the rail snowplow, called a Jordan spreader. Now if you look at the front of the Jordan spreader, you can see some blades near the front. Those can be lowered hydraulically, and they fit nicely right around the rails and pretty close to the ties. It can be pushed down the line to clear plant material on old tracks to get whatever's growing out of there. Also, they can dump ballast or the rocks in front of it and use it to push down the line to fill in between the ties of newly constructed track or tracks that were just worked on. The big wings on the sides can be extended and lowered to dig small ditches like the geese are in over here. Or it can be used to push snow far enough away from a track so you don't hit the snowbank and skip over. Now coming in view on the train's left side is our 85-foot observation tower. The tower we're sitting on is 90 feet long, so if we were to 50 feet higher than the deck of that tower. Now coming into view on the train's right side, where those people are going up the stairs into that gray car in our open air building, that is our railway post office car, and to the right side you can see some mail hanging on the pole. There are metal arms that can be extended from that car to grab that mail going up to 60 miles an hour. Some of the time it worked. There were times when they would just miss the mail, and it could be another 2 weeks or so before they river. You can see the Highway 172 bridge, and white buildings on the opposite shore are Heritage Hill State Park. It looks like we're floating over. The bridge in some places is not even as wide as the car we're on. Attraction. It comes to life a few weekends throughout the summer, but it really comes to life late September through Halloween. It's been ranked in the top 10. And they do. One more. There we go. On the train's right side you can see two passenger cars. Now they are intentionally left in this condition. They are a permanent part of the Pere on the Fox haunted house. They're vintage 1920s passenger cars, and when we got them, when they were donated, they were in very bad shape, to the point where they could not be repaired or restored. There was a third car, though, that was in much better shape when it arrived here. That was the Josephine car, and that car is right ahead of us on the train. Now, on the train's right side, we're coming up to one of our 1950s wooden boxcars. We'll be making a quick stop here. He rode in the 1930s, being beaten up and thrown in jail in that area. So, earlier in the day, and some great blue herons fishing. So we'll have to see if anyone is over here fishing today. Now, typically we have a lot of rocks right where the rocks are down there, but the creek is over a foot and a half higher than it usually is. Alright, now as soon as we get past these trees, you can see the other end of our open air building. Now on the far left track, you'll see one of my favorite exhibits here at the museum. The sleek silver train with the number 2 on the front of it. That is our aero train. Now the aero train was built by General Motors in the early 50s to entice people to come.
Nice having it today.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Next breeze.
I think the most interesting part of the museum was, you know, getting the train ride. It was really, really cool to kind of see, like, as the conductor was explaining exactly how the train had come into existence and a lot of its other origins. And we got to see the haunted house in one of the during the train ride, although it's not really operable until later in the house section of it. But there was this huge, it was like probably the biggest train I've ever seen, the big boy. It was probably like the size of probably a couple houses. Like, it was really, really cool, and I didn't get to see that anywhere else at any other museum, so I really liked that part.
And to add on to what Roll said, there was only 8 remaining big boy locomotives, 4884s, left in the world. They were only built for the Union Pacific Railway, but I will touch on that in a few minutes.
I like that.
Now, why is this outside? She was like, her pictures are industrials.
Just to kind of piggyback off what Roll said, my favorite thing about that museum was the big boy. I've seen pictures of it, I've read about it in books, but to actually stand next to one of these things and go up in the cab, you really get a sense of how massive these things are. And they also had a variety of stuff. And what was really cool was they had silverware and dinnerware from the Hindenburg.
Yeah, who would have honestly expected it? The National Railroad Museum. So going on is what they all said. You know, I have to agree, the train rider was pretty cool, even though it was pulled by a diesel. They took us around the property twice. The first time he explained a lot of things. The second time, the conductor came around to see how we were doing and everything. To piggyback off of what they said, it was really cool to honestly see what the museum had outside from a perspective of riding on a train. We went by the one horror house. We even went by over a creek and everything, and that was cool. But going inside is what Action or Roll, my colleagues have both said. There was dishes, there was a lot of cool things inside there. Sorry, I got to see one of the Mallard sisters, a 462 named the Dwight D. Eisenhower. That is the first British steam locomotive I've seen for the LNER Railroad. They even had coaches that came along with it from Britain. And going along more of it, they had a Milwaukee Road coach. But I think the coolest thing in the museum centerpiece would have to be the big boy locomotive.
4017.
And just looking at this thing was massive, walking up along the side of it. And when you sit in the cab and you see the pictures of it, it's just amazing to think of how much smoke the locomotive had to let off. And just imagine how loud something that big would have to be. But the collection did not stop inside with all that stuff. Outside they had a Santa Fe Texas-style locomotive. They had a surviving C&O Kanawha, a 284 C&O Berkshire. It's basically like I said, it's a Berkshire, but the headlight is on the cow catcher instead of mounted on the firebox door. But the Santa Fe Texas locomotive is a 210-4, which was pretty cool to see. And it was just cool because the National Railway Museum had a variety of different stuff. Like the Illinois Railway Museum, while it wasn't as big as the Illinois Railway Museum, it was still pretty cool to go through. Anyhow, hope you enjoy our video.
I'm Action.
I'm Set.
And I'm Roll.
This one's for luxury. That one's like a regular size one.
This way.
Hey, I remember all these buttons from
There's no railroad markings on it though. Who ran this train? Is that great?